Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marie if you're new, and the first thing I want to say is thank you to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it, especially that I haven't been consistent, but I'm back. I am back. I haven't done a sit down video in so long, but I know in order for me to be consistent I need to stop overthinking it, which is what I do, because I'm like, oh, if I'm gonna film I need to do makeup and blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it before I go out. I have no time because I'm always late, or is days when I'm not going out, I'm like, oh, the thought of having to put on makeup. So yeah, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of barefaced videos in order for me to be consistent. So a lot's happened since my last sit down video. I've obviously graduated, I've started working, I've moved cities, and I've completed my first rotation. So that is what the video is going to be about. And my first rotation was general surgery, so I'm just going to talk about my experience, what I thought of it, how it was, and just things I wish I knew or things I've learned. So before we get into the video, if you can like, comment and obviously subscribe. Next is road to 10k, I guess. Literally just completed 4 months of general surgery. So if anyone that doesn't know, you finish medical school, you start foundation year 1 and you do 3 rotations, and they're all 4 months each. So yeah, I started in general surgery in August. I'd say the 4 months have actually gone pretty quickly. I would say like it was actually a very chilled rotation. I didn't realize gen surgery was chilled until I was in it. I was like, yeah, this is actually very chilled, and speaking to others, it's known to be a chilled rotation. Your typical day would be go on a ward round and you're just scribing, you're just writing the notes. So I'll literally be like, write the date, right, who's taking the ward round, so it's normally the reg or the consultant. You'll check the news score, you'll just write like basic stuff about the patient, like patient's lying in bed comfortable, write like on examination, and it's always the reg that'll be doing the examination. You're literally just standing there writing, you're the scriber, and then you'll write the plan, and you'll obviously go around all the patients that are on your list. Or after the ward round, it's just actioning these plans that was set by the reg or the consultant. So plans, they are generally very admin-y. So I was an admin babe. Like all I did was mainly discharge summary. So you're literally just writing a summary of the patient's hospital stay, so they can take when they leave the hospital, book scans or bloods, chase bloods and scans. Nothing exciting, to be honest, but I did brush up on my skills. Like I'm really good at taking bloods, cannulas. I've done stuff that I've never done on an actual patient before, so NG tube wasn't as bad as I thought, like catheter, bladder washout. So I did get to do a lot of clinical skills, and there was also opportunities to go to theatre. I only went once just because there was another F1 who wants to do surgery, and I've known from before I even started medical school, I was like, surgery is not for me. So I just said there's no point me going. I don't particularly enjoy it. It was just nice to go to have a bit of a break from the normal day-to-day. I just let him go. So yeah, I only went to surgery once, but to be fair, the surgery I did go to was good. It was a mastectomy, and the consultant actually let me do a lot. Like I had to hold a retractor, I got to put in local anesthetic, suture, so it was a good experience. And you also have your on-calls, so this is a 12.5-hour shift. I hated these just because of how long it is, and surgery starts at 8. So these on-calls are 8 till 8:30. You rarely finish on time, even though sometimes there's no need for me to be finishing late, but I'm finishing late. And it just made me so grateful that I lived near the hospital, because even though I lived near, it felt like I would literally go home, make dinner, watch TV for like 30 minutes, get ready for bed, sleep, and it's like you're repeating that. And your on-calls are either Monday to Thursday, or you'll do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, I probably did 2 or 3 the Monday to Thursday ones in the whole rotation. Weekends, say you work 1 in 4 weekends. Yeah, I probably did like 4 long day weekends. And you also had nights. I hate nights. I really do. It just messes up your body completely. Like, it's not natural to be up on nights, like the whole night. And literally my first night shift, I ended up throwing up. I don't know where it came from. I had to throw up in a bin. It was such a down bad moment, like tears were like coming out of my eyes. I had to call my SHO, so that's the senior house officer, so the person above me, and I was like, I just threw up. So they sent me home and said don't come back for 48 hours. And then the night shift that I did do, I was literally up all night because I had a sick patient, so like having to deal with all of that. So I got lucky that I didn't have to do a 4 block of nights, which is what you should be doing Monday to Thursday. Is, yeah, 4 nights. But I just feel like it's crazy, but I will have that when I'm on medicine next rotation, so yeah, that will be interesting. So in terms of the team, I was on breast and upper GI team. I think we had like the biggest team out of all the surgical teams. There was also colorectal, and they made up general surgery. Then we had vascular and neurology. So yeah, breast and upper GI team was the biggest. There was 3 F1s including me. SHOs, there was 3 regs, and then the consultants. We also had a special nurse practitioner. To be fair, like mostly everyone in my team was like really nice, which helped, especially that I got along really well with the F1s as well. But near the end, I'd say probably like halfway, we rarely all worked together. Like everyone was always like either on call or nights, and our rotas just never crossed over. Really and truly, I think I kind of forgot that I'm still an F1 and I'm still learning. You get a lot of teaching. It would be like you'll finish the ward round and the regs would normally go to theatres, and obviously the consultants are not really around either, so it's just us doing the job. Teaching was limited apart from the nation teaching, which everyone did. In terms of like, you know, day to day, it rarely happened, which was a downside, especially when you realize that medical students, they literally are like a year below us, and like they would get small group teaching. I'm like, you know, I'm still learning. I'm still like would have appreciated that. Also, because there's like so many patients sometimes, and you have all these jobs to do. Obviously the ward round goes like really quickly sometimes because the consultants are rushing off to either go to theatres or clinics. You don't really get time to be asking questions because you're trying to scribe and then making sure that so the next patients are prepped as well. There's quite a lot to do. Obviously you don't want to be looking slow in front of consultant. Also, like I feel like you do experience like being at the bottom of the food chain. Like there's things, because you're like, oh, I'm a big girl, and someone's gonna like, you know, talk to me anyhow. I'm a post up. Yeah, no, because what did I do, guys? I cried. Like I cried. The consultant just kept shouting at me for no reason, for like really little stuff. And then the thing that just broke the camel's back was he started shouting at me for not being able to find a nurse. I was like, what do you want me to do? I'm looking and I can't find a nurse. Like, do you want me to make one appear? Like, see, you know when it's like they're now shouting at you, but like, what can I say? Because I was trying to be like, but the nurse wasn't there. He still got at me. I was just like, I've had enough, because that whole ward round, he just kept getting at me for little things, and I just, so I literally just, I just stepped out. I just left them to continue the ward round. I cried for like 5 minutes, and it was just like, okay. I had my cry. I just went to the ward round, like just continued the ward round, like nothing happened. But obviously I know he felt bad, because he definitely knew I was crying. Because I was still like trying to scribe, and like I could feel tears coming again. So I was thinking, wow, like this guy really violated me for no reason. And then like, yeah, he was nice to me after, but I'm just like, it shouldn't have to reach the stage where I have to cry for you to be nice to me. Like, there's no need for that. It kind of makes it an environment where you don't want to, like for me, I personally didn't really want to ask him questions, because I didn't like the way he was with me, and obviously that doesn't help my teaching. And like, if I really had to, like obviously I would ask if it was about a patient. I need him to answer a question, but in terms of if I'm thinking something and I'm not exactly sure, I wouldn't ask, just because I'm not really trying to get shouted out at work. Like, we're actually adults at the end of the day. I'm at work. Overall, I probably would rate general surgery a 6 out of 10. I'll say like the pros are, it's a very chilled rotation. I'm glad that I started with it to like kind of ease me into working. If you're into surgery, you do have a lot of opportunities to go into theatre. And the only reason why I'm rating it so high was because it was a chilled rotation. I think the cons are, to be honest, I just felt like all I was doing was admin. I wasn't learning that much unless like I would see a case and like look it up myself. But in terms of day-to-day, whilst you're working, you're not really learning. It wasn't stimulating. Like I definitely didn't feel like a doctor. I genuinely felt like an admin babe. Like that's all I was doing. Like you're mainly on the computer. The patient interaction is quite limited because on the ward round you're just there scribing in the back. It's the reg or consultant that's talking to the patient, and normally they don't really talk to the patients for that long anyway. And obviously after your actioning plans, so you don't really get a chance to talk to patients. All that stuff you do in medical school, like take a history and examine, you don't really do that unless when you're on calls. So like nights, because you're basically on your own. I didn't even explain nights properly, but nights, and to be honest, the weekend shift is a very big drop from a whole team of 4 juniors to just you. Then on top of that, you'll have 2 teams of patients on the weekends. And it's just like, how did we go from like, you know, 4 juniors looking after 1 team to me looking after 2 teams? And it's not possible, which is why the first weekend was so overwhelming for me. Like I wasn't expecting it. It was literally only my 2nd day at work, and that's why I actually cried after that shift. Like it was just so overwhelming. Looking back, like especially my last on-call that I did, that was way worse than my first one, but like I managed it because I like was used to it. It doesn't have to be that the cover is so limited, but then it's also can't be getting juniors to always be working weekends. Like it's really hard. And sometimes you get chilled weekends, but sometimes it's like the ward round is finishing at like 3 p.m. and the last on-call I did was so bad because the ward round finished at 3 p.m. and it reached a point where I was stealing water from, you know, like water for patient. I was like, can I use the jug? Can I use the cup during the ward round? Because I was so dehydrated. I was so dizzy. I literally couldn't even stand straight. I had to ask the nurses, can I have a biscuit? I was struggling. And in my head, I'm just like, well, as the F1, what can I really say? Because it's not going to be me that's going to be stopping the ward round. But this was literally like 40 patients. I was scribing for all of them. Every single patient, it was me doing it. It was too much that day. I just wanted to pass out. Didn't really get a break. You're entitled to an hour break when you do a 12.5-hour shift. All I got was time to eat my food, and that was it. That was it. And I ended up finishing late as well, again because it was too much work for one person. As the F1, you're doing basically all of ward cover. The SHO is the one that does all the referrals, like anything that comes through A&E, and then the reg like supervises the SHO for like senior review for the patients that were seen at A&E or does any surgeries. So yeah, I'm literally just doing all the ward jobs on my own. So of course I didn't have a break. Of course I finished late, and yeah, those days they do get a bit depressing because all you do is wake up, work, come home, eat, sleep, repeat, and you have no time to do anything. It's not a nice way to live, and obviously with that you get Friday off if you're doing Monday to Thursday. But generally it's not worth it because during those times, like, I feel really sad. I don't go to the gym. Your eating is off because you're really eating dinner at like 10 p.m. Just to literally have a shower, go to bed and do it all over again. And it's just very taxing on my body. And I'm thinking, I'm a young babe. I'm literally only 24 and it's having a toll on my body now. So let alone in like 10 years time, which is why I'm saying it from now, hospital shift work is not for me. It doesn't suit my lifestyle. doesn't suit when I have a family. Like it's a no from me. Yeah, I think general surgery, the reason why I've given it a 6 out of 10 is that it is very chilled. It is a nice rotation. It is not stressful apart from the on-call sometimes. I personally didn't feel stimulated. I feel like because it was like first job and you're trying to get used to everything, you don't want to rock the boat, you don't really know how it works. So I feel like going into A&E next, I have more of an idea of how things work. I'm more confident. I've obviously got 4 months of working behind me now. So even though I know A&E is a lot more work, I hope that I will enjoy it more. I hope that video was helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.